channel.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Iron Rounds. And you're probably wondering what Iron Rounds is, okay, so let me just explain it real quickly. We put one or two characters, or three characters, in several different rounds until we determine the third round, which is the official round to claim who claims victory. So, let's start things off. I usually start things off by going round one or yada yada, but I'm going to start things off by actually just giving you guys the feats of each and every one of the Spider-Mans from each and every Spider-Verse. Okay, so let us begin, shall we? All right, let's start things off with Tobey Maguire's Spidey, or let's just say Tobey Spidey. He caught a tray for MJ, and this is Spider-Man 1, caught a tray for MJ and caught all the stuff back in the original spots as well without spilling anything. Sensed Flash throwing his punch movements before he could nail him and dodged it from behind. Even mopped the floor with Flash in front of everyone, punching him so hard he literally mopped Flash's backside with the floor as he punched through Flash from across the hall. Punched Flash from across the hall all the way into a tray full of cafeteria food. Leaping incredibly high off of buildings, climbed a building wall without any gear. Defeated Bonesaw in the steel cage match. Caught a mugger who shot his Uncle Ben, stopped a liquor store robbery from two guys, stopped a jewelry robbery from a couple, stopped a purse mugger, swung into action sweeping a kid seconds away from being crushed from a stage sign, defeated Green Goblin on their first encounter by disabling his glider cruiser, saved MJ from falling off a crumbling building, took out four guys in a raining alley, threw them around like rag dogs, saved a baby from a burning building, dodged the Green Goblin tag boomerang type blade while inside a burning building while taking on the Green Goblin himself, saved MJ and the trolley full of innocent people from falling into open waters and kept his grip while Green Goblin kept taking jabs at him, survived being tossed into a building by Goblin's glider, held getting speared by Goblin, dodged the glider from taking him out from behind, defeated the Green Goblin himself, took on a Green Goblin explosion from the face. That was crazy. Spider-Man 2 stopped the two robbers from escaping into a vehicle, yanked four giant generators off the wall to turn off Dr. Octavius' machine, saved Aunt May from falling to her death off a very tall building, used his spider sense to dodge a giant truck from hitting him and MJ inside a cafe, saved two people from Dr. Octavius tossing them from a train using his web as a safety net, stopped a moving train from flying off the track, that was actually impressive. He stopped a train. It was on speed and force, like you gotta think about that. Stopped an entire building wall from crushing MJ. On Spider-Man 3, he defeated Hobgoblin, which is a Harry's goblin without his spider suit, survived being ripped into shreds by Green Goblin's blade chaser, saved Gwen from falling off a crumbling building, defeated Sandman on their first encounter, bonded with the symbiote and got it off himself, saved MJ again, defeated a giant version of Sandman and Venom, defeated Venom by trapping him surrounded by bars of loud noises. That was impressive. Now, let's get into Tom Spidey. Let's see. Spider-Man 1. He stopped a car thief, at least he thought it was a car thief. Spider suit is equipped with high-tech equipment, stopped bank robbers wearing Avengers masks while one of them was using a high-tech gravity device, got hit with some high-tech boxing glove, survived being dropped extremely high from the Vulture, defeated the Vulture without his spider suit is able to hear conversations from a distance, escaped a private facility. He saved a group of people from falling from their death in an elevator and managed to pull it up. Took five guys down on a boat, held a huge boat together using his web and his strength, beat a version of Shocker, survived being crushed by a ceiling, and defeated the Vulture himself. In Spider-Man 2, Peter took a punch from Water Monster, kept a side building from falling in under a minute from using his webbing, received an AI named Edith from Tony Stark after his passing in the form of a pair of sunglasses, took down one of Tony Stark's killer drone while on a school bus full of classmates, He had like literally seconds to leap and then take it down. Swung giant boulders at a fire element monster, landed incredibly hard on a car from a tall building, upgraded his suit by customizing his suit himself by using Tony's tech, defeated Mysterio, took down a swarm of killer droids. Using only the spider senses, he was able to break through Mysterio's illusion. Spider-Man 3. On his first encounter of Tobey's Doc Ock, he managed to disarm him using his brain to do it, and a piece of nano suit didn't hurt. Destroyed a high voltage power grid using his web and strength while disarming Electro. Helped certain villains become rehabilitated using tech as well. Using geometry, he was able to outsmart Doctor Strange in his own element. With his spider senses, he was able to sense Norman Osborn's evil side. Worked with 2 other Spider-Men to take down 4 evil villains. They also invented together a lot of equipment to take these bad guys down. Defeated Andrew's Lizard with the assist of MJ and defeated Tobey's Green Goblin. Okay, now Andrew Garfield's Andrew Spidey. Okay, Spider-Man 1 took down 6 guys in a subway train. Caught a fly in midair as it was hovering around. Trained himself inside an abandoned warehouse. Outran 6 guys using New York's alleys and rooftops. Invented his own web shooter. Took bad guys that had the similar look to Uncle Ben's murderer. Listened to a nerd invent so he can invent his own suit. He was literally walking behind 2 nerds who were talking about how to make the suit durable and capable of flying in aerodynamic, all this stuff. Anyways, he outran the police custody. He saved the boy from falling into a watery grave while the van was on fire. Bended a football field goal just by throwing a football at it. Using his webbing, he made a net that connected to every different section of the sewer to create a sort of web frequency sound through vibration. Yeah. Took on the Lizard 4 times and defeated the Lizard eventually. Spider-Man 2 stopped Oscorp truck robbery of plutonium, stopped a liquor store robbery, webbed an officer away from a jumbo screen in split seconds to avoid Electro from harming anyone, stopped a police car from crushing a crowd of people standing on steps while using his web to yank 2 hands from touching the ramps while it was conducting an electrical current and keep others from touching anything from shocking them. In seconds, caught plutonium with his webs, leaped from a truck, flew over a bus, and stopped the bus from crashing into pedestrians. Reflexes are incredible in this guy. Used water to stop Electro the first time. Invented a device to lock on May put. I'm not sure. I can't remember what that one is. Oh, he invented a device like to lock himself in the room so that way when Aunt May came through, it was like a voice recording to keep her from getting in. Does experiments to learn more about Electro, a better investigator. It defeated Electro and Hobgoblin. Invented a web to conduct electricity. Took a hell of an electrical circuit blast. Trying to save Gwen's life, he fought off Harry while holding to Gwen while stopping a clock from crushing him. Defeated Rhino. Garfield, much more of a detective. I will say that. Alright guys, round 1. Brains. Okay. So, Tom Holland had Tony Stark's high-tech equipment. No doubt about it. He was able to wield it. He was also able to modify and customize his own suit based on it. Okay? So he's a pretty smart guy. Not only that, he was able to outsmart Doctor Strange too. That's saying something. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, also very impressive. He had to think on his feet when it came to going in a tough situation against saving Mary Jane and having to save a trolley full of innocent civilians. So, and defeat Green Goblin at the same time. So, you got to give it to Tobey Maguire's smarts on that one. But I'm going to give ultimately this round to Andrew Garfield. Now, why would I say that? This is why I'm saying this. Andrew Garfield actually had to invent his stuff and think on his own feet. And he also thought on his feet in quick situations when it came to difficult situations as well. So let's think about it. With Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he's still not really fully throughout the whole franchise capable of wielding Tony Stark's equipment to a full extent. He's only capable of managing it, but not fully able to wield it. And obviously with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, he didn't really need a lot of tech. His suit wasn't made with any kind of high advanced tech equipment, and on top of that, his webs, he didn't need to invent his own webs. It came out of himself. So Andrew Garfield had not only had to invent his web like Tom did, but he also had to think on his feet like Tobey did, and had to invent his own things to countermaneuver villains. So he has a little more of thinking on his feet, figuring out like ways to strategize against someone. So brains wise, I got to give this one to Andrew Garfield this round. To Andrew Garfield. Round 2, flex. Okay, what do I mean by flex? I mean, when you look at it, who has had the bigger roster of villains and who have defeated more baddies in the period of their franchise. Okay, so on one hand, Andrew Garfield, of course, he didn't have that many movies. He didn't get to get his third movie, but he did have a lot of impressive villains. He got to face the Lizard, and he also got to face Electro, and he also got to face Hobgoblin, I believe. So he had 3 villains who were pretty bad and pretty tough to defeat. Electro himself was actually pretty impressive and very difficult to defeat, and Lizard was over the top, steroid out hard to take on his own. And of course you got Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where he's actually faced a lot of pretty crazy characters himself. He faced some pretty tough guys. He faced on his bad roster Green Goblin, Dr. Octavius. He faced Venom, he faced Sandman, he faced Harry's Hobgoblin. So he has faced several baddies that he could say that he could be the one to claim this victory as his flex. But ultimately, I'm going to give this round to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, or Tom Spidey. Why? Well, not only did he defeat characters with high-tech equipment, villains, which are impressive. He faced Mysterio, he faced Vulture, all those guys. Not only that, he's also defeated characters from other verses. Don't forget, he's defeated Electro at one point. He defeated Dr. Octavius. He defeated Green Goblin. He defeated the Lizard. So he has defeated other characters from other realms, not only his own characters from this realms, but other characters from other multiverses. So I will say that Tom Holland's roster list has a bit more impressive. That's why I didn't add on the Civil War or Endgame, because it would just be too much of a roster to apprehend them or overwhelm them. So I figured, just based on all the movies they've done together, Spider-Man solo, I'm gonna say that Spidey's roster list is impressive. So I'm gonna give this one to Tom Spidey for this round. All right, guys, round 3, skills. All right, so this round determines who would win officially between the 3 of them. Yes, one round might have won over another, but the ultimate winner is always the third final round in this segment. So let's talk about the skills. Okay, so on one hand, Andrew Garfield has faced ultimate powered level characters. Okay, there's no denying that. He's also faced some other characters from other universes as well. On top of that, Tom Holland, on the other hand, Tom Holland's Spider-Man has also faced quite a few characters where he can say, yeah, he's pretty tough to beat from other multiverses. So skills-wise, he's also kind of pretty leveled on that. But ultimately, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man wins this one. Now, you're probably wondering yourself, how is that possible? Okay, well, let me explain. Yes, on one hand, Tom Holland's Spider-Man does have Tony Stark's equipment. And yes, Andrew Garfield is a pretty smart guy. But when you look at the fighting sequences between every one of them, Tobey Maguire was the one who got it done the most when it came to the fights. When he fought Dr. Octavius, he gave it his all. When he fought Green Goblin, he gave it his all. When he fought Venom, he gave it his all. He was pretty much in every fight always having to take on characters hands-on with his own fist. He didn't have to rely so much on his tech and stuff like that. Where Tom Holland kind of relies on Tony Stark's tech just a tad bit, a little bit when he needs it. And Andrew Garfield's character is a pretty smart as a whip situation, but ultimately he didn't really beat them with a bare fist fight. But when it comes down to it, let's say it's a long fight, they're going at each other, Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man has shown a lot of more impressive strength, and along that, let's not forget the web is a factor in this one. If Tom Holland's Spider-Man or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man runs out of webs at any particular point, that's Tobey Maguire's time to shine. He could just take the upper advantage in that moment. when he is always going to be able to continue to produce the web, he will ultimately be able to continue to take advantage of them. Even though Tom Holland's Spider-Man does have the suit, eventually Tobey Maguire does have the skills and the impressive strength to be able to counter, and probably more experience to beat Tom Holland Spider-Man at the ultimate level. And Andrew Garfield, he's impressive in himself, but he didn't get to really shine in the third movie to really show what he could really do more than Tobey Maguire did in his final sequence where he got to face 2 guys on. So 3 actually in that whole franchise, in the last third installment. So I want to say with Tobey Maguire's skills, with the fact that he's beaten his characters and villains with his own bare hands and has managed to survive some very deadly situations more, I want to say, than Tom has and Andrew has, I'm going to give this round ultimately to Tobey Maguire's Spidey. Tobey's Spidey. Anyways, do you guys agree or disagree? Feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. And as always, No Press fam, we really appreciate you guys. Catch you guys later.